Okay, this is a video for Darlene. She wants to take this image and make it into a SVG so she can make a decal. She wants to put it on a cup for her daughter. And she was having a hard time getting this traced, and there's some good reasons why. If you look closely at it, you can see this area down here is a gradient. It goes from red to black, and there's even actually a little bit of red in here. Inkscape's not really going to know how to trace that very well. So I was telling her probably the best way to do this would be to just reassemble the image. There's my dog. From an Arkansas state outline and a nice clear non-shaded Razorback. And I was just going to show how to do that. So I've already downloaded two images from the internet, and I'll just import them. I go to File, Import, and it takes me to my download folder, and here's my Arkansas state outline. And I'll just click on that and say Open. Okay, so there's that. We'll go ahead and trace that since we've got it here. Path, Trace Bitmap. I'm just going to use brightness cutoff. The default threshold is 0.45. Let's just try that and see what it does. Okay, that looks good. If I look down here, that says that's my path. If I click on this one, it says that's the image, so we can delete that. We don't need the image. Let me close some of these windows. All right, right now this is actually two paths. If I go to View, Display Mode, Outline, and zoom in, you can see that Inkscape has traced both the inside of that outline and the outside, and we only need one of those. So I'll go back to View, Display Mode, Normal, and we're just going to break this apart. Path, Break Apart. I'll click off and then click back on to select the inside one. If I change the color, you can see that there's an inside trace and an outside trace. As far as which one we want to keep, we're only going to keep one of these. I would probably keep this one as far as cutting goes, because this one has lots of little tiny curves that are more tight, and I think this one would probably cut better. So I'll just delete that pink one and we'll keep this one. All right. If we look at this one, it does have a shadow layer, and we can make that pretty easily. I'll just take this and change it to red, and then I'll duplicate, Control D, and I'll change, so you see now there's two of them, Control Z to undo, and I'll change that one to black by clicking on the color palette down here, and I'm going to send the black copy to the back by pressing End. All right, now the black copy is behind. I'm going to offset it by going to Path, Outset. That outset at 1, I have mine set. If you go to Edit, Preferences, Behavior, and Steps, it'll show you how much your inset outset default is. This is set at 1 pixel, which works pretty well for this image in particular. I'm going to outset one more time, and I'm just going to use the keyboard shortcut, Control, close parentheses. Okay, that went one more step out. In this original image, it does not have an outset on the top and the left-hand side, but I'm going to leave. If you wanted to do it that way, you could just shift this over by using the arrow keys to shift it down and to the right. But actually for layering, I think it would be a lot easier if that did have an outline around it, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Now, one thing to fix here, if I zoom in, you can see that this black outline has a little hole in it now. You don't really need that. It's not going to cut well. So I'm going to click on the black and then click on my node tool, and it shows me there's a little cluster of nodes right there. I can just click and drag over those. This is only affecting the black layer, and I press delete, and now those are gone. Whoops, zoom out. Okay. Just kind of quickly looking around the edge to see if there's any more of those, and it looks like that's the only one. All right, so there is our Arkansas outline. Now we can work on the Razorback. I also found a nice Razorback, so I'll go to File, Import, and I just picked this. He was nice and big, and he doesn't have any shadows or shading. He's going to be easy to trace. So there he is. And I'm also going to do path trace bitmap. And I'm also going to use brightness cutoff for this. We're going to have to fiddle with the threshold settings. I'll just show you if you do it at 0.45, you can see it traces all of the red stuff as black because the red color at this threshold is being read as black or as a solid. So I'm just going to decrease the threshold. I'll decrease it to 3. Okay, that looks a little better. It might be a little jaggedy around the edges, so I'm going to decrease it a little bit more. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to close the window and we can get rid of the original. And now we're just going to fill in the parts of the Razorback. So not being clicked on the Razorback, nothing is selected. I'm going to click on the paint bucket and then choose a red color to fill him in. And I'm going to zoom in as close as I can while still having him all on the screen. And I'm just going to use my paint bucket is set to visible colors, threshold 43. I've got it set to grow by 1 pixel. And that'll just extend it over the border a little bit, over the outline. Okay, that looks good. I'll fill in that little area there and his ear. On the original image, these little bits right here are filled in with red. Probably what I'd do, I would click on the selector tool, select the black outline, and then click on the node tool to get to the nodes. All right. And I would probably kind of drag to the nodes to make these little bits a little bit bigger. Whoops. Because that's just going to be hard to cut. But I think they're nice. I think it wouldn't look right without them. So I'm just dragging those to make them a little bigger. And you might find that you have to change that a little when you go to cut it. If that doesn't work out. I think it should. Alright, so again, back to the paint bucket. And I'll click to fill these areas red. Now we have to fill the white areas with white. But I'm actually going to pick, I'm going to go back to the selector tool and click off. Because see, even though it didn't show up, that last thing that I filled with the paint bucket is still selected. So I'll click off to deselect it. I'll go back to the paint bucket and click on a light gray so that it'll show up. Now I'll go and fill in the white areas. Okay. All right. Now, let's group all of these same colors together. If I click on a red and then right click, select same, fill color, it selects everything that's red so I don't have to go through with holding down the shift key and trying to select each one. I go to path union. That puts all the red pieces together. Control Z. I can do the same for the white. Click on a white thing, right click, select same, fill color. Every little white bit is selected. Then I go to path union. All right. Now we got to assemble all of this together. I'm going to click and drag to select my state outline and pull it down here. And then I'm going to hold down the control key and pull, whoops, to line him up so where he looks good. I could put this directly on top of that and make it exactly the same, but I don't think it really matters for this, so I'm just doing it kind of by looking. All right, that looks good. So now what we want to do is we want to get rid of the parts, because if you see, we don't want to layer. If I pull that, you can see there's going to be a black layer, a red layer, a black layer for this guy, and then a red layer. We don't need all of those. So we want to take the outline of the bore and subtract it from the state. And we also want to cut off this edge of the bore over here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this and I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to use that to slice off over here. So I need another duplicate because I have to slice both the red and the black. So Control D to duplicate it again. Now with that duplicate selected in the red, I'm going to go to Path Intersection. And what that'll do is it'll save everything that intersects. So right now the Arkansas State outline and the red of the Razorback are intersecting in that area. And it's just going to get rid of everything that's not intersecting. Okay? So if I move this, you can see it chopped him off right there. Now we'll do it again. That's why I made another duplicate. I'll select that duplicate outline and the black, and again go to Path Intersection. Okay, there he is. Now what we want to do is we're going to chop out the parts where the Razorback is from the Arizona State. So to do that, first I'm going to choose the red and hold down the Shift key and choose the black. Okay, I'm going to duplicate, Control D, and then I'm going to union those together into one solid shape. All right. I also need to do I need to do the white with it? Yes, I do. So I'm going to take that white part, I'm going to duplicate that, and then click the black and union that together as well. All right, now I've got a solid black outline. Control Z to put it back. I'm going to take that and I'm going to subtract it from the Arkansas State outline. So I select the black and I select the Arkansas State, and now I'm going to do Path Difference. Now let's look at what we have. See, it chopped out the Razorback. So we're not going to be having so many layers on top of each other now. If you wanted to do the boar the same color as the Arkansas State, you could do that. It might look a little too monotone. Let's see. Control Shift F to open the fill panel. My red part is selected. I can click on this eyedropper and then click on the state color and it fills it in. That way you would only have two different colors, but I think it looks better the way it was before. It's up to you. You can do whatever you want with it. But let's check and make sure that we have everything that we need. There's the Razorback. There's his teeth and his eye. There's the state outline with the silhouette cut out of it. And there's the black background. Oh, we have an extra outline. We can just delete that. Okay. Put everything back where it was. Trying to find that outline is still in there. There it is. Delete. Okay, so then if we select everything and do Control Shift R, that resizes the document so it exactly fits. You can just save. Save as Razorback with Arkansas outline, whatever you want to save it as. And then you should be able to import that into Design Space and cut it out. So I hope that helped you. I hope it wasn't too disorganized. Sometimes I kind of fumble around and don't realize the best thing to do until I try the wrong thing, but that's how Inkscape goes. So I hope that helped you.